to have you with us. I'm An Jang-hyun for Heart to Heart. The International English Expo and Conference 2003 is currently underway in Seoul right now, with the aim of examining the current English education system and proposing a better one for the future. Joining me on this edition of Heart to Heart is the Secretary General of this expo. Please welcome Professor Kim In-seok of Dongdeok Women's University. Nice to have you on the show.
Pleasure to meet you.
So this expo, it sounds very interesting. First of all, tell me, is it for students or teachers of English?
Well, it's basically for teachers and students and all English language teaching professionals, and also the business buyers and the English teaching materials developers and writers and publishers, everybody included.
Oh, so basically everybody that has to do with English education.
Wherever they live with the English language itself.
And what is the expo about?
Well, it'll be it has many components. One component would be the display, the state-of-art products like the software, multimedia learning devices, and books and EFL, the web contents and CD-ROM titles, you name it. And another component would be the international conference, where a lot of the foreign scholars invited, actually 2 scholars invited, with expertise on foreign language education at the early age, and also the how to teach English, learn English with technology. And the third component would be the public seminars and workshops and celebrities, lectures, so that they would like to provide a lot of information for the English learners who want to be fluent with maybe little efforts. That will be a good chance for them to grab it at this time.
Now, these scholars who are giving lectures during the time of the expo and conference, what will they be speaking about?
Well, we are basically inviting 2 scholars, the world-known scholars. One is Dr. Teresa Kennedy, who is professor of education at the University of Idaho. And she has been working on very seriously in the area of the foreign language education and its impact on brain. So she'll be talking about when it's good time, best time for us to teach English to children and why. And she's going to bring up a lot of the updated research on brain and also the foreign language teaching methodology in terms of effectiveness.
And the other scholar?
The other scholar, of course, is Dr. Elizabeth Hansen Smith. She is the world-known scholar in the area of the foreign language teaching with technology. She participated in developing the CD-ROM titles published by Oxford University in England, the picture dictionaries, which is very well known, the materials. Also, she developed the TPR, total physical responses-based teaching methodology-based CD-ROM title, which just came out in recent months. So she's going to demonstrate how the brain-compatible teaching method will be integrated into the multimedia technology. That will be one of the key major the focus in our international conference, which will be held this month 15th on Saturday.
So these lectures, they do not have to do with just English. They basically have to do with any foreign language.
Well, when you say the foreign language, it includes every language you're learning.
Right.
So wherever true within the one language teaching and learning environment, that should apply in the same way to any language you're learning. No question about it.
Well, this is a question that all learners of a foreign language ask themselves. How much effort is needed to actually achieve native fluency?
Yeah, that's a very mind-boggling matter. I mean, there has been perennial debate as to how many hours you need to spend to be fluent, like just native English. And I had some research. Actually, I'm teaching on this stuff in class, in my the graduate study class. The research shows that the native children of English develop the complete mastery of the English at the age of 5. If you compute the number of hours they're spending living with language by age of 5, we come up with, just around the 20,000 hours altogether. Now, compare the number of hours we're spending. Say, our school children spending in schools, like they're going to the 5 days a week, and maybe when they go to school, they study the 1 hour, 2 hours, maybe 3 or 4 hours, 4 hours a day, 4 hours a week. So when you calculate total number of hours of instruction in Korean school system, it's going to be 2,000 hours just around that. Now then, if you do little computation on between two numbers, you need 40 years to arrive at the native fluency of the English children. You see, so that's the impossible hours. So that really implicates that we need to spend more hours to English instruction. Otherwise, no matter what we do, I mean, within the current system, language development would not occur very natively. That's my position.
So the trick is to find ways to speed up the process, because obviously we can't wait 40 hours to master a language.
So, yeah, that's a good point. Actually, another, the factor that really the speed up the process is we need to have the good teaching methodology, teaching method. In other words, with one teaching method, your language development may take 5 years with the same environment given. Now, with another teaching methodology, which if there's a new one, then it may take 2 hours with the same environment. That's the key. Now, this kind of the discussion really gets into the multimedia assisted language learning methodology. I mean, the teaching methodology should be brain compatible, in the sense that the methodology should be able to activate the brain, so that the language will sync on the brain. That will last. If not, whatever you learn is easily washable, which means you forget about it. Then you won't speak English very, very, very fluently.
Well, before we talk about these methodologies, which are emerging to be one of the effective ones these days, let me ask you this question, which a lot of learners of foreign language ask. Is early exposure to a language essential? Does it matter at what age you start learning?
Well, again, that's another very perennial question. I mean, debate we have been engaged in. Now, the recent study really demonstrates that there is the good age when we study the foreign language. Now, one thing we really have to be careful about understanding when is the best age to learn a foreign language is this: how young is young, how old is old. You need to have the real real age where the children can develop a language very, very fluently without having their native language damaged in some way. So according to research in first and second language acquisition, which has been documented very widely in literature, that whole different area, there is a critical age, which would be around puberty. When you say the age is going to be 11 through maybe 14, 15 years old. Now, that is the critical age. Why is it critical? Because brain research tells us that the human's brain localization, if you say lateralization, really gets terminated around puberty, which is 11 through 14, depending on age and sex. Now, before, as long as you begin your the other language before the puberty, like 11 through 14, 15, you're going to be okay. You have a potentiality to develop the language with native fluency. Now, then if you advance that, the induction of your language much earlier, like age 5 or 6 or 7, there's no problem. Problem is, there is a great danger that you are going to lose your native language ability. Now, according to research done by James Cummings and some other people, scholars in the ELT, the discipline, Canada and USA and Belgium and other countries, they are all the common the views that I share with is that the language really should be introduced without damaging their native language. Another aspect, another side of same coin is this. If you have the very firm foundation of your native language, in our case, Korean language, right? Then that language itself really will, language competency will really lead you into the very easier learning of foreign language, because 80%, 90% of the language competency really shared on the common underlying proficiency. If you take the diagram, which will be up on the scene, on monitor, that really is shocking. I mean, the 80% of the linguistic competency is shared. You know, what is 80% of the linguistic competency? That is the semantic notions, vocabulary knowledges, and concepts, maybe logical reasonings, thinkings, and time and space. Those are all real things. I mean, you need to develop those preliminary and logical thinkings and the linguistic competency before you develop a second language, whatever language that might be. Without having a firm foundation on first language like that, your job to pick up two languages, three languages at the same time is impossible. I mean, it's possible, but it's not effective. So your first language background will accelerate your efforts. You are learning the picking up second language, maybe, in a little short time.
So by the same token, if you're fluent in your second language, then that means you're going to have an easier time learning the third and fourth languages.
That's right.
So
yeah. That's right. So once you
true.
develop the first language on a firm foundation, now you happen to develop the second language, maybe third language, another possibility.
Right.
So then we are going to talk about the language ability. I mean, each individuals have different levels of the language aptitude, like IQs. So according to research, if you have the high level of language IQ, which we call language aptitude barrier test, then you are going to have the one level difference on the 5-level scale.
So have an easier time.
Much easier time
learning another foreign language.
Yeah.
I see.
That's right. That's right. Yeah.
So what then, the big question, is the effective way of teaching or learning a foreign language?
Well, there are many ways. I mean, in the past, through the 1950s, 60s, audiolingual method, enjoyed its heyday. Now then, we had another innovative ways of the foreign language learning and teaching, like silent way, Suggestionpedia, and the CLT. Now then, we are talking about the community language teaching, CLT. Now, this method is very much in the mainstream right now. It really focuses on your ability to manipulate the language rather than know about the language. So you need to exercise, you move your body, and you touch something, listen to some sentences and objects and so on. So the language learning really is in tandem with the experiencing the knowledge in the form of language. So experience and language itself, they go together.
Making it a part of your life, your experience.
Yes. You don't study language by knowledge. You study language with action or experience. That's the key. Yeah.
And in this day and age, when there are so many multimedia tools that are available to us, it's going to be easier to actually to experience that, to live that.
Right. Well, earlier I said that the language teaching methodology should be very brain compatible in order to be effective. Right. And one of the brain compatible teaching methods is the multimedia assisted language learning, which is I am involved in. If we just take a look at the system title, much easier to explain what's going on there.
I see.
If you take a look at the system title TPR, that tells you how to activate your brain with language commands. If you listen to the command sentence, then you follow the command and then show some demonstrative actions. then you really experience language, what's going on, through comprehension.
I see.
So that really sinks down in your brain. Okay, language is not superficial. Okay, it goes deep down. Yeah.
So why don't we take a look at that CD-ROM title, and maybe you could guide us through it?
Sure, we just take a look at that.
Here it is.
Well, if you look at the first scene, live action English, inactive CD-ROM title, if you look at the titles on the left-hand side, the good morning through the chapter 12. Now, on the right-hand side, watch, listen, interact, watch, read, and,
These are commands
and
for the
order
user,
and so on. Now, let's look at a watch. First sequence, first stage on the CD-ROM title is the watch video, which is full of the video segments. You listen to the command, and then the character on the scene takes the command and then does some actions. So when you watch this scene, you see, you think that you are doing these kind of actions for yourself. And then
so it's a simulated experience.
Yes, simulated experience. I mean, and now then, once you comprehended all the command sentences, now then you are going to get into listening stage. You listen to the command sentence, which you had a practice on, you watch a video on. You'll match the listening command sentence through the scene given on the scene. Just practice. Okay. Now interact. Once you watch the video segments, you listen to the sentence. Now then, you are going to give 5 the objects along the video segment. Now you listen to the command sentence and then drag into the one sentence in the center. Rather video scene in the center. If it is correct, then you will get the correct signal, if not wrong. So this time you really have to be engaged in doing something rather than to know about something, talk about something. So that really synchronizes your action with the language itself. Now then, you are going to read the sentences, altogether 13 there on the monitor right side. This time ordered. You're going to give the sequence of the sentences. Now then you drag the one sentence on the left-hand side to the right-hand side into the column, so that you complete the number of sentences altogether you watch in the video segments. Now then, the very short the reading passage. You're going to fill in the blank with the proper verbs and with the verb changes, filling stuff. Now then, right. This time you're going to listen to the command sentence. Now then you have to type in into the space there your real the language. So this really it has several stages. You watch what they are doing. Okay, even though you are not doing anything. Okay. Now then, you listen to the sentence, and then you do some little bit of exercise on it. Okay. This time you drag stuff. You do something. Okay. Perform rather. This is sort of a simulation, I should say. Now then, interact. Okay. You listen to the sentence, and then you compare the sentence. You watch the video segments. Now then, now your turn to show how much you really comprehended the sentences given or your video segments you watched. So it really activates, in a way, the human brain functions to take in for language the learning into the brain.
I can understand the part about how a CD-ROM like that would help you understand the language, experience the language, although you're not actually up there moving around and about. But how effective is that in terms of maybe listening or speaking, which are two essential skills in obviously learning a foreign language?
Let me tell you the basic why the multimedia language learning is very effective. Okay, in relation to the question you asked raised, we tend, according to the vision memory research, released by the many American reading universities, we tend to remember 10% of what we read. We tend to remember 20% of what we see as images. We tend to remember 40 or 50% of what we see and listen to. And now then finally, we tend to remember 70% or even over of what we see and read and perform and interact. That is the multimedia, the assisted learning concept. So within CD-ROM title, every media is molded into the one part, where the impact giving to brain is maximized. So with one single media, you are going to get maybe dedicated one single impact. Now, if you give the several media all together in one part, for example, CD-ROM title, or if not, that's the web contents, now then your impact is sort of multiplied by many media.
Because you're reading, seeing, listening, and speaking.
So you cover everything, writing and reading. Listening is one of the good way in which you could develop very effectively with CD-ROM title. Because the programmer really calibrates the different levels, language materials in different levels. So you play with CD-ROM title. If you think that's a little more difficult, then you go down to different level. Sometimes the multimedia CD-ROM title gets the feedback, whether it is wrong or right. Sometimes it gives you the score, also intonation curves. And so human teachers can do it, but not always possible. But CD-ROM title is something you could play with every time, anywhere.
At your own convenience.
Yes,
that
definitely.
would be another advantage of something like that. So in terms of CD-ROM or foreign language education through a medium like CD-ROM, how is Korea?
Well, the Korea is one of the leading the country which really has achieved a lot of success in implementing technology we call ICT, Information Communications and Technology, into the mainstream, the regular curriculum. Back in 1997, we introduced the early language education in schools, starting from third and fourth and fifth and sixth, three grades altogether. Now, we are entering right now we're entering the second cycle of the foreign language, early language education in schools. The government spent a lot of money and invested to develop the CD-ROM title, which goes with their regular textbooks. This is something no other countries can think of. So the students are given regular textbooks with accompanying the CD-ROM titles. Also, government developed the range of materials on the website, which where I participated as a principal projector. So now the interesting thing is that Korean really governments forces every teachers to use those multimedia CD-ROM titles, if not web contents, any other materials developed through multimedia, to use in class at least for during the 10% of the time.
In conjunction with the textbook.
That's right. Yeah. And then now a lot of the teachers and schools are raising the ratio like 30%. So when I go to the foreign conferences in Taiwan and China, and then the Australia, a lot of the scholars approach me and then ask, we heard about your government's the infrastructure of these ICT and implementation of that into the regular curriculum, and then they ask for information and CD-ROM titles, and I say, well, you're interested? Come over to Seoul, and I'll show it to you. That's my simple answer.
I see.
Yeah, they like it.
So now there are other countries wanting to learn from.
That's right. Yeah, we are very proud of that. Actually. Yeah. Also, let me add. I mean, I happen to participate in developing the CD-ROM title for funded by the Seoul City Office of Education. Now, the CD-ROM title was for teachers' use. We never thought of there is any difference between the CD-ROM titles for teachers and CD-ROM titles for students. I mean, the CD-ROM title itself for self-learning itself, right? But we drew a line between what is the fundamental purpose, teaching purpose of the CD-ROM title, how that should it be different from the CD-ROM title, which is given out for students for self-study. So in literature, even a lot of people are very much interested in knowing the concept of the underlying concept of why the Korean government, Seoul city government, developed the CD-ROM title only for teaching instruction. That is very much the updated research on the edge. We are pushing through in the long run. That will, I think, will make eye-catching among all scholars who are involved in more a cold arena, I think.
And we'll be able to get more information on everything that you told us so far at this English Expo and Conference.
Sure, right. Actually, we are going to have the international conference, which I said earlier, through 13th through 16th. We are going to have the public seminars, lectures, and celebrate the lectures and workshops and so on. So it'll be a fun, session to be part of it, I think.
Well, I hope the expo ends in success, and I do thank you very much for all the useful information that you have given us
Thank you very much.
in relation to foreign language education.
Sure. Thank you.
Hope it's been helpful to you, and if you are interested, do go check out this expo and conference. It will be of great use to learners of any foreign language out there, I'm sure. That is all for this edition. I'll be back with more Heart to Heart next time. Hope to see you again then. Bye-bye.